Well, we had a real big day training today. I am at Mohawk. I just watched Warwi Ultra make a break at the gate. Made a little break at the gate, and then made a break coming out of the last turn in the same spot. I don't know what went on. I've never seen Warwi Ultra act up behind the gate. I don't know. I didn't see any issues with her at all. So I just sent a message out to our clients, my partner, saying, hey, we'll race her in a maiden next week. Then she'll prep for a stake race. Now, I've been a little vague. Stake race, grassroots, I assume. And then we'll go the Sharp Series second leg in Georgian final, and then come back with one or two, either the grassroots or the gold. So a little frustrating. You know, we all knew she was a long shot coming in, but being a long shot and then not getting a chance to race are two very, very different things. It's very frustrating as a driver and obviously as an owner when you're waiting to see how the race is going to transpire, and then a horse like her makes a break at the gate. She's got so much gate speed. I'm just so surprised. She got away so well from the rail last week, and then you're right up in behind the gate. Maybe she didn't like the gate, like in behind the gate. I don't know. Jody really didn't have an answer for me. Just said she threw her head a couple of times and run. I don't know. She's a trotter. I guess trotters will run once in a while, but she's pretty sure-footed. I'm a little surprised, but that's that. Last night, Lincoln James won. Looked great in Illinois. I knew he fit cheap when he went out there. You know, it's not like he won the Open last night. He won the bottom class in Illinois, but at the same time, hadn't raced in 50 days. Trained once and then went out and just showed his class. I think he come like 26-4 on the end of it in the mud, and looked really, really good doing it. So good for him. I'm glad he's fitting in out there. I'm sure he will continue to fit in out there also. So on to what we did this morning. I was up with the kids at 6:30 in the 6:25 in the morning. Got a shower, shaved, and went to the track. Went down to the barn, helped everybody get loaded. We had 37 yearlings come to the track today, 2-year-olds come to the track today, and for the most part, they all went really, really well. Now, I'll go over each horse individually in my video tomorrow, as we do every weekend, but I wanted to touch base quick with you on what I saw today. There was some incredible miles. We've talked about the track at Tamiko. Oh, it might be short, so I'm always hesitant to go on about how fast they went or how didn't they go or what they did. I'm always hesitant to do that when it comes to times, but we're at Mohawk here today, and 5 watches on the track, 6 in some sets don't lie. So we had some impressive miles today. I'm going to run through with you the ones that really impressed me the most. Yours, if you want it, was surprising, shocking today. James said he got over the half in almost 106 and a bit. Won a mile in 2:04, last quarter in 27 and 3 or 27 and 4. Pretty incredible. Again, a little more, but he was well in hand. I do have some videos. You know what? I'm just going to throw these videos up on YouTube as I do this. I'll label them so people can get a look at them. I'll put all the horses that were in the video in the. That's fair. They're only 15, 20 seconds long. So if you want to see what I shot today from my vantage point, and how the horses finished up and some of them how they started, that'll be on the YouTube page also. So what we have is what we had most impressive. So I have the trotters and the pacers that really wowed me. 37 horses, and I have 5, 10, 20 listed here. Wasn't that the other ones didn't impress me. Some were just good. Some, maybe a couple made breaks, not many. Spirit of Dio made a break, but James said we had the hobble set pretty good for Tamiko on the half-mile track in a jog cart. Come over here on the bike, and we just couldn't get them on tight enough. The problem is that, anyway, it doesn't matter. Spirit of Dio will be fine next week. We will school all these horses that went good. We'll school next week, get a week off, qualify, second week in June probably, maybe the first week for some of them, and then they will go either race once here or go to their prospective jurisdictions. We only had 2 Ontario breds come here today. Wait, no. 1, three Ontario breds come here today, just because they weren't doing it perfect at Tamiko, and I wanted to get a look at them. I'll go over those right now with you real quick. Utopian, little pinchy in his knees. I'm okay saying that because nobody owns any shares right now except for the breeder and myself. Little pinchy in the knees, running in a little bit. Ryan Holiday went with him. He went a mile and 2.6. And I am going to get him looked at next week. His knees might just be open a little bit. He might have a little lip on one or a little line. We can just shock him, shock that knee and give him a week off. I'm sure he'll be fine. Who else? Fox Valley Shazam was okay. Mile and 2.7, 2.6, 2.7, something like that. But a little pacey down the lane. We're going to make some shoeing adjustments on her. And that's going to happen over the next month when you transition from the half to the big track to stretching out. She's going to have that transition, and she's just one of those horses. She got that big, powerful gait, but still growing. So we're going to work on her this week in her shoeing. She went her mile, but she was in with some Bearcats that were ready to rock today. And the third one was McPherson Thunder. Running in, getting around. He just didn't get around Tamiko very well, did he? And we took him over here today, went a mile and 2.6. He was good. He was pretty good. Now, he finished up behind a group of pacers that were really dancing. Him and Fusspot were kind of back a little bit. Fusspot was not impressive today. I'll be the first to admit that. Gonna have to take a real close look at this filly over the next couple of weeks. My biggest concern after seeing last year's crop is that Fusspot has the same tendencies, not quite as bad, but similar to a horse like Linnea. Very talented, very quick, very fast on her feet. But when push came to shove, and you know, got into the deep end of the pool at the start, middle, and end of the summer, maybe fizzled out a bit. It will all come down to attitude at this point. So I won't know for a few weeks completely what the landscape looks like in regards to, well, at least what Fusspot will look like. So that was a concern I had today, was Fusspot. McPherson Thunder was back a bit, but he really wasn't ready to go wide open with these guys, was he? Kind of had a scattered workload in the wintertime, and I thought he was good today. Mario got to let his hobbles out a bit. For those of you with a keen eye that saw that, he wore a quite tight hobble at Tamiko. We got to let them out a little bit today, and he looked rather well. So I'm going to go through it. Yours If You Want It was the standout of the morning. Unbelievably good. Spend That Money finished up right behind that horse, and both looked extremely well. Now, Yours If You Want It controlled the training mile. Spend That Money ended up in the first over position, dropped in the 2-hole around the last turn. Yours If You Wanted come, as I said, 27-3, 27-4, which is ridiculous. It's May the 18th today. People might think that's early, but keep in mind, in 4.5, 5 weeks, Yours If You Want It's going to have to trot in 58, which looks like he's well on his way to doing that. I didn't know how good he was until today. A couple of horses really shocked me. He didn't shock me, but the speed and how easy he did it. Go back and watch on the YouTube page. Watch James motionless in the bike going under the wire. And as I said, I'm always hesitant to mention miles at Tamiko because it might be a little short. Mohawk's not. And it's pretty simple. You got a big giant red pole at the head of the lane. You got a big giant black pole finishing up. It's not hard to catch the math in between. For those of you that think that 28-2 looks like 27-3, it doesn't, not from a driver's standpoint. And you can see the difference of how hard he's trotting the last 100 yards. Spend That Money's keeping up with him, which is pretty impressive all on its own, and looked really good. Behind them was Knockdown Drag Out. This was the first time we really cut her loose. As we get that closed bridle back on her, and she gets some real power in her, which is we're not in a rush to do, you'll see a totally different horse. We had got an open bridle on her the last little while. She's very quiet, doing her work, learning, being smart. And it's not time to flip the switch with her. These three definitely showed some real gas and some power to them today. No big deal there. Now, one horse that surprised me was Compass Rose DC. You'll go back and look at the YouTube video again. Finishing up together is Johan with the bow in his neck and Compass Rose DC. Both of them very strong going under the wire. 28-2 on the end of it. Mile and 2.5 and a bit today. Both looked very impressive. Really Blue Chip won her training set. You can see her just get up and pass Globetrotting, who was in the first over grind from the 5/8 pole and looked very good. And the other colt, Libero Hanover, was on the inside with Danny O'Brien. All three of those horses looked tremendous, but Really Blue Chip got up and passed them at the wire. She came like 28-1 on the end of it and looked very good. And then in another set, a 2-horse set later on, they only went in 2:10, but Olympic Hopeful looked really, really good. And Olympic Hopeful was training with Rose Run Versatile, mile and 2:10. And Just for Me and You in another set looked good. Now there was 5 of them across the track. Just for Me and You, Nancy Allison, Susie K on the inside looked good. I'm missing 2 horses that were on the outside. Bend Over was in another set and looked good. So did Sometimes Things Happen. They also went in 2:10. But there was 2 horses I'm missing from the far outside. It'll be in the video. I'll label it properly. I don't know why I missed them here, but on the far outside there was 2 horses beside Just for Me and You, Susie K, and Nancy Allison. I just can't put my finger on it just yet. Jailhouse Master was one of them. They went a mile in about 2:6, 2:7. They were very, very good. All in all, a pretty incredible day for these trotters. I think the only trotter made a break. There was a couple. Rooney Blue Chip shied away from the... If you watch the races at Mohawk, there's a photography stand down the backstretch, right up against the fence, right up against the rail almost, halfway down the backstretch. He just looked at it and rolled off. Got looking at the pole here, just looking at stuff. And then Spirit of Dio coming out of the last turn. But James swears her hobbles were just a little too long. We'll school her next week. He thinks she'll be fine. So for the most part, all the trotters went very, very well. Now on the pacing side, we had some pretty incredible miles also. Arctic Force, we got a good look at him the other day in the open house. Mario Bergeron drove him, coming half in a minute at Tomiko. Out here today, half in 58, 28 on the end of it. Danny went with him and fought off Brush Cut. Both these New York bred colts looked very, very good. 2-4, last half 58, 57 and 4 from what I had. Last quarter in 28 and 1 or so. Both looked very good. Now, you don't get to see completely where I'll Play It Alone came from. James said, he said, it's very hard to steer him. He's got a very heavy mouth on him. He doesn't really play nice in the sandbox, so to speak, but he can flat out fly. St. Anthony, I come 27 and 2. He said, this colt is very fast, but pretty ignorant. And I said, you know what? You're just going to have to deal with it. So, he was flying on the end of it. Really, really flying on the end of it. This colt's got an enormous amount of speed. We need to get... I don't mind him being a little out of control. I want him on his toes. He's just a little odd, this colt, but he can fly. I'll Play It Alone was flying on the end of it. And Emerald Miss come 28 seconds. Louis said she was on the right line a little bit, but we did take some equipment off the inside of her. We can fix that easy. And the other horse in there, Beach Bum BB, had a little yellow snot in her nose. She came 29 flat a mile and 2.5. Very good looking filly in there also. The next set, Beach Boutique. Powerful filly. Looked really good. She got small feet up front, Sylvain said. A little on the left line, a little left front. We're going to put some razor pads on her up front and school her next week. All in all, though, Sylvain said she was very, very good. She finished up right together with Bottle of Red, and Excellent Nation was right in behind them. They come 28 seconds on the end of it. And both were very strong. And then back a little bit in that video was McPherson Thunder and Fusspot. So we had 10 babies, pacers, come to the track today, and they looked very, very good. Fusspot, a little flat, and McPherson Thunder was only ready to do so much. I thought he did as much as he could. I was very, very happy with him. So, we're going to give the stars out for today. Yours if you want it. Top of the class today. Compass Rose DC, Johan, Spend That Money, Knockdown, Dragout, Really, Blue Chip. Those 6 were tremendous. Arctic Force, Brush Cut, I'll Play It Alone, Beach Boutique, Bottle of Red, and Excellent Nation. All the horses I mentioned just blew me away today. You know, and if you know, if you've seen it and been with us for a couple of years, when we bring them over the track the first time, they're not usually this professional. Look around, there's a lot of light now. The sun wasn't out today, and there's a couple of big shadows in the turn they didn't get to see today, so that might be a bit of a rodeo next week. But all in all, you know, the light standards, a big track, water truck was out there, tractors were out there. They were all really, really good. Very impressed with what I saw today. 37 babies came to the track. I can think of one that was a little unimpressive. Pretty good day all in all. Next week, on Friday, I would say 30 of these horses, if I can, will school next week on Friday after the qualifiers, if they'll allow us to. And then also, we'll start bringing the Ontario breds over in a couple of weeks. People asked, Where with Sebastian Yu, if we'd have brought Sebastian Yu over here today, we might have went around 2-2. He doesn't need to go that fast just yet. Went a nice little easy workout mile at the farm with him today. And Sebastian Ray, also an American bred, but his owners don't want him to leave. One guy owns him with his wife. They don't want him leaving Canada, so there's no rush with him. He only has stake races in the summer. He's 5 weeks from being able to having to go. So we kind of grouped him with the Ontario crew, didn't we? Havana Unana trained hard last week. Wanted to give her an easy week this week. Her knees bother her from time to time. She's just growing. So when we give her a little break sometimes, especially when her first stake race is, and again, second week in July, got a little time with her. Tiamo Hanover also, he's done a lot of work over the last 5 weeks. Went easy with him. So, as I said, the better part of 30 to 40 horses will be here to school next week if we can. And then the week after that, we'll start bringing the Ontario breds over. So, that's it in a nutshell. 15 minutes of it. An impressive morning. I'll be listing some of the short videos that I shot on the YouTube page, and this video will be going up right away. So, all in all, it's been a good start. I'm going a little stir crazy watching them go, but I'm feeling good. This video would have been done a little earlier. Obviously, I'm at the track at Mohawk, but today kind of knocked the crap out of me a little bit. My arms were hurting a little bit when I got home, picking up harness and helping people put bridles on and stuff and changing hobbles, and my arms were a little bit sore today, so I had a little bit of a nap and got up, come in, and unfortunately Warby Ultra made a break. I'm going to call that anomalous. This filly's had a great run back, trotted 57 last week, and I think she's going to have some good things for us this summer. Lincoln James won last night. Yes, raced pretty good on Thursday. What else? Timel Tulo was second. Had a pretty good week. We'll talk about all this tomorrow. But for now, the babies went great today. Tremendous day. And a decent turnout. Maybe 10 of our clients come out. Maybe a few more. Next week at the qualifiers, again, we're going to bring the donuts. We're going to bring the coffee. If you guys want to come and have a good day, that's fantastic. Next Friday, tentatively, Mohawk might say we can't accommodate you, in which case I might have to reach out to Flamborough. Hopefully, next Friday here at Mohawk, we'll be able to school 30 to 40 of these 2-year-olds. Talk to you soon. Take care.